And it's 5:31 a.m. in New York on Wednesday, July 25th. Good morning. I'm Jerry Willison for Lauren Simonetti.
And good morning, everybody. I am Cheryl Casoni. Well, the Trump administration announcing a plan to provide $12 billion in emergency aid for farmers as trade disputes continue between the U.S. and other countries, including China. Administration says this plan is meant for short-term relief while President Trump works on trade deals. Programs that take effect around Labor Day, but some farm states and lawmakers there are very critical of the plan across the aisle. Meanwhile, the president is holding a trade meeting with European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker today. He tweeted late last night that the European Union is coming to Washington tomorrow to negotiate a deal on trade. I have an idea for them. Both the U.S. and the EU drop all tariffs, barriers, and subsidies. That would finally be called free market and fair trade. Hope they do it. We are ready, but they won't. Let's bring in Jessie Jane Duff, a retired Marine Corps gunnery sergeant and London Center for Policy Research senior fellow, as well as Jason Altmaier. He is a former Pennsylvania congressman and a Democratic strategist. Great to have you both here.
Good morning.
Jesse, let's start with what's going on today as far as the ECICA commissioner, the president, coming in today to meet with President Trump. This meeting, it seems like it's already baked in the cake that the president is not going to give them what they want, and what Juncker wants is leverage. This is kind of the last chance for the EU to cut a deal. Do you think that they're willing to do it?
Well, the EU has been highly resistant because the tariffs that are on the products, American products, are working very well for them. And that's what it essentially boils down to. And the president is saying no more. We're not going to continually allow this deficit that's impacting Americans in a negative way. You're going to remove your tariffs, we'll remove our tariffs. And I think that's a great deal. That's what he essentially has said in a tweet that went out yesterday. So I'm hopeful that the EU is realizing this is not a president that is mincing his words. He's very clear that he's trying to work out arrangements that are to the advantage of the American people, not the disadvantage of American people. And I think that all Americans should be celebrating that.
But you know what, at the same time, Jason, I mean, the president has been criticized, I mean, for it's kind of an all for nothing approach. I mean, why not do one trade deal at a time? I mean, we've got the EU, we've got China, we've got Mexico, we've got Canada. I mean, he's just going for everything. I mean, isn't that kind of a danger for the American economy?
Well, these tariffs just by themselves are bad public policy, and the retaliation that's occurring is bad for America and is bad for American consumers. And one of the things you're seeing now is this agriculture bailout. So now you have $12 billion of taxpayer money going for a problem that the president created himself. And we have to borrow that money, add it to the national debt. And the largest holders of the national debt are foreign countries, and China's is the largest holder of them.
One. Sure.
So it really is bad public policy. And it's not just agriculture. If you look at Whirlpool yesterday, they had their worst day in the market, lost 14%, worst day in 30 years. And they were one of the biggest cheerleaders for the president's tariffs a few months ago. So this is just a downward spiral.
Yeah, no,
yes.
And you know what, Jesse, I want to continue on that theme here because he's getting criticized from both sides of the aisle. Listen to these two leaders, both from both sides of the aisle, saying that they disagree with the president.
This is an effort to try to staunch the bleeding a little bit, but I think the real problem is that he's not gotten tough, he's been foolish.
I think before we start another government giveaway program, we need to wait and see how all of this plays out.
You know, Jesse, even Kevin Cramer, who's a congressman from North Dakota, who's been one of the president's biggest supporters, says trade, not aid. This is the wrong way to go for American farmers.
You know what? But I find it very hypocritical. On average, $20 billion a year is spent in farm subsidies. Where's the protest been then? I mean, my colleague across on this show with me today is indicating that this is taking taxpayers' dollars. Well, what have you done to stop the tariffs before, Democrats? Stop the subsidies before, Democrats? You've done nothing. You've allowed it. Because as long as your party was pushing for it, you were all for the taxpayers, pushing the money into the farm programs instead of ensuring that we remove the subsidies and had more an effective farming program.
But, you know, I mean, look, and we are a business network, Jesse, I got to say, a lot of Wall Street analysts say that, trade war, tariffs, this is all just a bad idea. But the fallout, Jason, I mean, we're just talking right now about soybean and sorghum, wheat, corn, pork, poultry. But this is just the beginning. And I think that's the worry about this $12 billion bailout.
Well, that's the problem. It is just the beginning, and it's necessary now because agriculture goods are what's the retaliation of the day. But these countries are not going to stop there. They're going to continue along this line. We're going to need more and more taxpayer money to bridge the gap until this policy is discontinued. That's the only way out of this. The tariffs are just bad public policy. It's bad for America, and it's terrible for American consumers.
And will the chaos take us right into the midterms? There's so many issues around this. Jessie and Jason, we wish we had more time. Thanks, guys, so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.